Hello my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and it is time to talk about what I will be reading in October. So, I had all of these plans for October. There were readathons that I had that I was going to look up and actually do, and then it got time to kind of look through everything and figure out what I was doing, and I couldn't. I was just like, I don't have the mental capacity for a structured or serious TBR right now. So I just decided that I wasn't going to do it. And part of that is because of all of this mess. These are all books that I am reading, should be reading, and am planning to read. And I was just like, I can't handle that, and getting ready for NaNoWriMo and doing Preptober and trying to finish my book, which I've been trying to do for months, which, I mean, at this point, is it even going to happen? I don't know. So I thought I would just kind of sit and have a little chatty video with y'all, and we could talk about where I am with my reading. I'm going to go over what I'm currently reading, what I do need to read by the end of October, or what I'm kind of is important that I read by the end of October, and then some other stuff that maybe I'll pick up. No guarantees that any of this is going to happen, but it's good to have goals and think about what you want to read, or I don't read anything at all. Who knows? I might just spend all of October listening to my podcasts. That could be what happens. So the first act that I am going to talk about are books that I am currently reading. These are books, some of these I've been reading since March. That tells you how bad I am at finishing some of these books. I need to finish Clockwork Princess. I have been trying to finish this for 3 months. I was supposed to have finished this in March because I am so far behind on my Shadowhunters reread, and you know what? We're not restarting it. It's gonna take me more than a year. That's what's gonna actually end up happening, is rereading the Shadowhunters books is just going to take longer than a year. That's how it's gonna work. Ta-da. I also am currently 34 pages into The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. This is basically going over how our housing situation has gotten the way it is. It's going over segregation, the legal things that were happening back in the 40s and 50s and 60s that segregated our country. Things that made it through so that neighborhoods were not integrated. It's going into how the societal pressures that were happening there. It's going into the way the banks fed into this system and the way the government fed into this system of why things are the way they are in this country. We are still very segregated very often in our neighborhoods, and that then bleeds over into economic opportunities and into educational opportunities and all kinds of stuff like that. So this is part of me just trying to educate myself and know more about my country and more about what we have done wrong, so that I can be a part of fixing what needs to be fixed. I'm also in the middle of Ghost Squad by Clarabelle A. Ortega. I am really, really enjoying this book. It is such a light, fluffy, fun read, and I wish I had the attention span to just fly through it the way it deserves to be flown through. That hasn't been happening. The only thing that can hold my attention span for more than 5 minutes right now apparently is fanfic. Maybe there's Ghost Squad fanfic out there. I don't know. But it is so delightful and fun, and I really, really, really am enjoying it. I am in love with this book, and we're only halfway through. Would die for the main character. I think she is just a sweetheart and perfect, and no one should ever hurt her ever. This is about Lucely Luna, and her family has a ghost tour business in St. Augustine, which I have been. It's great. This is a very Florida novel. There are things that are happening that I'm like, oh yeah, that's Florida. There's this fantastic point where Lucely is talking about the fact that, you can wear shorts, but you need a sweater. And that is such a perfect summation of my life in Florida. But it's about her, and she is trying to help her family's ghost tour business, and then she ends up kind of messing things up with some ghosty things, because she can see ghosts. There are actual ghosts, if you couldn't tell, in this, and she can see them, and some things happen, and she causes chaos, and suddenly she and her friend Sid and Sid's grandmother's cat Chunk are having to basically save St. Augustine from these very malicious evil spirits. I also need to finish Dear Allie, How Do You Write a Book by Allie Carter. This is written by one of my favorite authors. It's just a book for teens on writing, and even though it is for teens, it's got lots of good stuff that I'm it's definitely geared towards starting at the beginning, starting as a teenager, but that doesn't mean that there isn't stuff in here that is not useful and helpful and that any writer can use and should use. I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be reading this, so I haven't been making great amounts of progress in it, but it is what it is. And then I am like 2/3 of the way through Glory Happening by Caitlin Curtis. I keep forgetting that I am reading this book. I just, like, it's one that you kind of, it's a devotional by a Native American Christian. It's just basically kind of her thoughts and her kind of reflections on her day, and she always kind of brings it back to what she has learned from other Christians or what she has, read in the Bible, and it's really, really good. It's just one of those things that, like, you can't just sit down and marathon through it and get the full benefit, and I am very bad at things that you have to do consistently every day. Like, I say this as someone who has to take medication every day. I'm just, like, daily consistency is not my strongest suit. Nope. And so I keep forgetting that I'm reading this, but I really do need to, like, find a time in my day again where I'm sitting down and I'm reading through it. I was doing that when I wasn't employed, and it was really nice to have that kind of morning time, but I haven't really, since I've gotten employed, I haven't really had time to just sit down and read, even though these are really short. They only take like 5 minutes, but I'm always, like, rushing and having things that I need to do before work. So the next stack of books are going to be the books that I need to start this month and read this month, and this is a lot of books. I'm realizing. This is a lot of books. Anyways. At least 2 of them are short. The first 2 that I just need to finish. I want them done. I want them out of my life. Our Girl with a Pearl Earring. No idea what it's really about, except that it's based on the famous Vermeer painting, and the girl in the painting, it's kind of the author imagining what her life is. And then Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney, and this is about Greg. Yeah, this is about Greg. Who names their kid Greg anymore? Anyways, it's about Greg, and he is in middle school, and it's about him dealing with middle school. And so I need to read these so that I can move on to other long-form vlog-type projects, and I can't do that until I have read these. Yeah, so it's going to happen. Maybe. They're both very short, so I feel like if I can just find some time to sit down with them, it'd be great. I wish I had an audiobook for this one, because I think this would be a really good one to listen to as an audiobook, but I'm not going to pay for an audiobook for it when it's only like $200. It would be like a 6-hour audiobook. This obviously, it has a graphic element, so you can't do audiobook with it, but I mean, you could, but you can't. I maybe need to read The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. This is the Second Trials of Apollo book. I'm not sure how, I think this is supposed to be our October book for Demigods Anonymous, but we kind of have not been following any sort of timeline, so like we could make plans for when we need to read this, and then it ends up being November's book instead. I don't know. We still haven't talked about the first book, so we'll see if I end up reading it this month. If not, I'll be reading it soon because I wanted to read it and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one. So I am excited to get to this one and see if there's more Percy in it. Or Annabeth. I really want some Annabeth. And then I have the last 2 books that I need to read for the Latinx book bingo. By Any Means Necessary by Candace Montgomery. This is about a kid that he is just trying to deal with, like, going to college and getting ready for freshman year, and then some stuff happens where they're going to lose the family bee farm, and he has to go and deal with that and have to, like, kind of figure out, like, it's starting to maybe look like maybe he won't be able to go to college because he has to help the family keep their land and all of that. And so this is one of the books. This is the group book for the Latinx book bingo, so I definitely need to read this soon. It looks like, I'm hoping I might be able to find this as an audiobook, actually. I feel like maybe it's on Scribd or something. I don't know. But it looks in such a super cute cover. I really like it. And then the other one that I need to read for that is All We Can Save, Truth, Courage, and Solutions for the Climate Crisis, edited by it's edited by Ayanna Elizabeth Johnston and Catherine K. Wilkinson. This one's going to fulfill my prompt for read nonfiction for the Latinx book bingo. I am not entirely sure if one of the editors is Latinx or if some of the authors in here are Latinx, but I kind of was looking for some nonfiction that I would be interested in reading, and I'm kind of interested in reading more about our climate crisis, since, it's crisising actively as we are. And the final book that I'm finally getting to is another nonfiction, that is White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo. This is I don't know if it's like an anti-racist or social, but basically it's just examining why white people feel so threatened by bringing race into the conversation. And how our relationship with race works, from what I understand. And I'm going to be buddy reading this with Brianna over at Coffee Books and Bullet Journals. I'm interested. I feel like from what I've heard, it's probably going to be a lot of stuff that I already know, but I also want to know, is this something that I can say, hey, this might work to educate family, to educate friends, this might be something that's going to help kind of, I don't want to say ease them into it, but like bring them to the table in a way that is not going to threaten them or make them feel terrible about themselves, because that is not the point of anti-racist work from my understanding. I could be wrong, but like making white people feel terrible is not the point. The point is to correct these systems that feed into racism, and sometimes that requires people like me to feel uncomfortable and to have to confront history and systems that we are a part of and that we benefit from. And then we have this final stack of mine of books that I really should read, would like to get read, will probably not read, but you know, it's nice to have options, I guess. We have The Hero Strikes Back by Maura J. Moore. This is the second book in the Hero series. I don't remember the name of the series. I have read the first book, but I don't remember the name. I enjoy the interplay between the two main characters, though. He is a source, she is a shield. He is able to do magic, but doing magic puts his life at risk. Most sources die trying to stop the natural disasters that sources are meant to stop, and so a shield is able to protect them from those natural disasters, sapping all of their strength or killing them or whatever. I don't remember. It was a good book. I enjoyed it. I am waiting for them to get to the point where they're like feelings, but I'm pretty sure that's going to take a couple books. I also would like to read Reawakened by it's Odette Bean, which is, I'm pretty sure, a pseudonym. I would like to read this. It is the first season of Once Upon a Time as a novel, and while what I remember from like the first couple chapters is not the best written novel, but still it's the characters I like, and I have it, and so I would like to read it. I also would like Emma's jacket. So, if you do not know what Once Upon a Time is about, this is about Emma Swan, and she is the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, after the evil queen who has survived. She doesn't die like she does in the Disney movie. She has survived, and she curses everyone so that they all end up in this sleepy little town in Maine, all except for Emma, who ends up somehow being put in the real world by a different means, which means that she's able to break the curse. And it's about her breaking the curse, or trying to, or realizing that the curse is real. It's like, there are so many layers to this. She is such a, like, flawed and difficult character, but you also just, I love her. And you feel for her because her life has not been easy, because she was abandoned by her parents as a baby, basically, even though they didn't want to, but they kind of had to, because it was like that, or have her grow up with no memory of who she was, and like a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, you question, but you know what? It's fiction, whatever. So the next couple of books are TBR jar books that I need to read, but one of those is already a TBR jar book, but I'm not pulling any new ones this month because I didn't finish the ones from last month, so I don't need to add any more. Even though I am trying to get my TBR down, but that's fine. We'll work with it. The pandemic has been great for reading books that I already own. Although I can get in my library now, so that's great. But Pride and Prescience, or A Truth Universally Acknowledged by Carrie Bebris. This is like it's from the Mr. and Mrs. Darcy mystery. Like, basically it's just Elizabeth and Darcy from Pride and Prejudice going around solving mysteries. And it's a whole series. And so if I like this book, I'm going to be in for some good times. I also have Save the Date by Morgan Matson that I need to read. This is about a girl that her family is leaving the house that she grew up in, and there's going to be this one final wedding that's like kind of their goodbye to the house. My phone is going off. Why? So she's trying to have this like wedding be perfect because it's their last time in this house, and she's feeling nostalgic, and apparently there is a dog. So I don't know. It sounded good. I've heard good things about Morgan Matson. Oh, look, you can see the dog on the front. We've actually had that happen at a wedding that I have been to, one of my cousin's wedding. The table that had the cake, just, the cake went, and they still ate it, which, I mean, so would I. Also, I need to read Beyond the Darkened Shore by Jessica Leek. This is the oldest book that I own. I've had it for a long time. It came in a fairy loot. I think it was a fairy loot that never ended up on my, I don't think it ever ended up on my, like, I did an unboxing and I never posted it for some unknown reason. I don't remember. Maybe, oh, it might have been the one that I accidentally deleted. Or maybe that was Ace of Shades. I don't remember. But I need to read it. I've heard it's good. It involves Vikings, which is a job description and not an actual people, but you know, whatever. Historical accuracy, who cares about that? I'm gonna read it at some point, eventually. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do for books that have bird on the cover when I read this, because I don't have a lot of books that have birds on the cover. I've got one more. Oh, I've got another one to put on every TBR that requires me to read a book with the bird on the cover and then just not read. This next one has a very high probability of getting read because it is the only thing that brings me joy, and it's not really. There's also Julie and the Phantoms, but it's one of the only shows that currently brings me joy. It is also the only sci-fi that currently I'm into that has not betrayed me. So anyways, that is Abandoned Skate by James S.A. Corey. This is the third book in the Expanse series. I'm absolutely adoring it. My favorite part of this entire series is the main couple. I won't say who they are, but I just love them, and one of them is one of my favorite new characters. She also shares a lot of similarities with Annabeth, so if you couldn't tell, I really like nerdy girls who are good at things. I'm waiting for season 5 to be announced, when we are going to get season 5, and I understand maybe a little bit why they are waiting on that, because we're in the middle of a pandemic and we can't really film the next season and all of that, but it's filmed, and I know that it's ready to go, or it's gonna be ready to go, and I need them to announce when season 5 is coming out. However, I haven't caught up there in the books yet, which is fine with me. This is the third book. This is basically a lot of what happens in season 3 is based off of this, although there are some changes. So there are some changes that they've made, that I know they've made to season 3, that I think I might enjoy parts of the season 3 plot. I feel like I might like that better than I like some of the plots that are going to be in the book, but like the plot, there's a plot in season 3 that's very Naomi centric, and I'm not getting the feeling from just looking through and seeing who has points of view in this book, I'm not getting the feeling that that plot actually, number one, happens, or that this plot is going to be as Naomi centric. The final book that I would like to have finished reading, this one has a higher chance of being read this month than other books that are in the maybe read pile, and that is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I have been told that I have to read this book. I wish I had already, honestly. I'm gonna be totally honest. Like, the only reason I have not read it is because I wanted to finish rereading The Infernal Devices first, and I just haven't reread The Infernal Devices yet. But I want to read this book. I want to know. I want to see Will Herondale as a dad. That's just kind of how I am. I just want to see what he's like as a dad, especially since I feel like his kids are probably really chaotic. Like, because he was chaotic as a teenager, and I just want to see how he reacts to that, because there are multiple ways he could react to that, and they all sound absolutely hilarious. You know what I mean? They all sound very enjoyable. So I am looking forward to reading this. I just haven't gotten to it because I want to read Clockwork Princess and finish that so that I have the full experience of reading this. I haven't because I've had other books that I've needed to read. So here we are. Ta-da. I'm going to read it at some point by the end of the year. That's the goal. By the end of the year to have read this. Will I make that goal? That's a totally different question. Those are all of the books that I could be reading for the month of October. Maybe might read for the month of October. Who knows what's going to happen in October? We'll see. I'm also doing NaNoWriMo. Or no, I'm not. I'm doing NanoPrep. I'm doing Prep-tober. I'm trying to finish a book, so. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, there will be videos over here that you can watch if you enjoyed this one, because you might enjoy one of them as well. Other stuff on my channel that you could check out, please. And thank you. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!